Okay, let's get started. Good morning, everyone. I'm Julie Hill, the Director of Power for Sona Bank. I also want to say welcome to you. So before we get started, we want to know who's in the room because Mary can see everyone coming in, but some of us cannot. So this is what we thought. The next 10 to 15 seconds, if you can go to your right-hand part of your screen, the chat room, put your name, your company name, but also your URL and where's your business located.
That's right. So what you'll see is everyone on the very bottom, probably on most screens, you'll see a little chat icon. Click on that, and then depending on how your Zoom settings are, it'll show up in the front of you or show up on the side, and you can move that around. But let's go ahead and let's see who's in the room, like Julie said. And make sure that you make it says to everyone. Oh, here we go.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Jim and Lorna. Sylvia, Paula, Tracy, Dee Dee. It's great to see all of you. There we've got Michelle and Nancy Green and Lauren. These are all of our powerful partners here.
Excellent. Nice. I love the fact that also you're many of you are including your URLs, which is great because on this recording, all of everything that's in this chat box is part of the recording. So later, if you want to, follow up with anyone, you'll be able to also see their website, their name, which is great. It's just, part of this is connecting, right? Virtually.
Okay. Well, continue putting that information out there so we know who's here and who's in the room. Good morning again, ladies. Good morning, powerful ladies. Today we're hosting our first Power Join Up Live on virtual marketing. Now we all know that we're all having to shift our gears, adapt differently in our current environment, but that doesn't stop us here at Sona Bank Power. Sona Bank Power will continue to provide tools like today. If you've ever been to a Power Join Up meeting, we make powerful introductions. And so doing that today on the chat room was very important so that we know that who's in the room. But we also want to provide the tools and the resources that you will need virtually to really continue to do your business successfully. But also too, in our Power Join Up meetings, we talk about challenges. And some of those challenges have been marketing, HR. I know at the first of the year we did goal setting, and there's so many more things that we could definitely talk about. We're super excited today to have Mary Foley. Mary is going to be a treat to have on, as you can already tell. So she'll be facilitating our discussion with Dawn Young. She works day by day with her own business, Bodacious Ventures, with women entrepreneurs, revving up their businesses. But also too, we're also excited to have her where she serves on the Sona Bank Power Advisory Board. She's also our host for the P.O.W.E.R podcast. So Mary, we're excited to have you and take it away.
Thank you so much, Julie. I'm excited to be here. This is fun to me. And I'm glad so many of you have already joined, in, and we'll probably even have some more come on. If you haven't already, this is a quick reminder, those who just started, put yourself on mute because like the dogs, who let the dogs out, everybody doesn't need to necessarily know that, but we want to have a good audio experience because that's also a big part of getting the value out of this join up. As Julie said, this is our first virtual Power Join Up. They've been happening in person in small groups. So, hey, during quarantine, let's do it online. And I have a feeling this might be where it's not the only one that's going to be happening. So that's really good. We're going to start out today with some initial thoughts by our featured guest, Dawn Young. And then we're going to dive into some questions that some of you have already submitted. And then quite a few of them were in trend. So Dawn's going to go ahead and kind of address probably some of your pressing questions as well. And then we're going to open it up for discussion like any Power Join Up would have. So with that, I want to also let you know that in addition to our featured guest, who is Dawn Young, who's been in marketing for a long time, we have our Sona Bank whole marketing team, which is really pretty unusual to be able to have these kind of marketing experts here, so that when we get into a discussion mode, oh my gosh, we could tap into their brain as well. So we have Michelle Simon, who is the Chief Marketing Officer for Sona Bank. Also, Lauren Whitlow, if you want to say hi, Lauren, or just wave your hand, that would be great. And then we also have, where is Jessica Ragsdale, who is the marketing assistant. So thank you all for making this happen, and also being here, because I know that there's a lot going on in every organization, particularly banks, with all the support through the SBA program. So let me introduce today's guest. And just another quick reminder, if you haven't put yourself on mute, please do that, so we have some really good audio quality for everybody. But let me introduce Dawn. Dawn is the founder of Thrive Marketing. Now, she's been in marketing communications for over 20 years and in various different organizations. And now she, of course, has her own business. And she is a proud member of the Sona Bank P.O.W.E.R program. And she's also very proud to have been part of the initial team that launched the P.O.W.E.R program now 5.5 years ago. It's pretty amazing, for Sona Bank. So with that, Dawn, I want to toss it over to you, and let's get started. All right, let's get some initial thoughts going about virtual marketing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Mary and Julie and the entire Sona team, for having me here today. I'm really excited to be with you guys, and what we hope to do is to share some tips and some links and some best practices for all of us as we are marketing in this virtual world. One of the things I'm going to do this really quickly, is to share my screen. And that's the thing. Let's see. Go over. And we even did a trial run on this. Let's see. How do I do this? Let's see.
Let's go to view. Yep,
View
there you go. And present. There you go. You got it.
Perfect. I'm going to go back, because one of the things I wanted to say is, I think every time we turn on the TV on, everyone is talking about the fact that these are unprecedented times, and they are unprecedented times. But what I've tried to do personally and professionally is, take it day by day and try not to stress over the things I cannot control. If we listen to everything that is going on, it is, oh my goodness, we're going to be sitting in our houses till September. I don't believe that's the case. But there are lots of things in our control. And I know as strong women, it's through those tough times that we really hunker down and, and we work at our best, because we're very, very creative and savvy women. Many of us are running businesses, running our households, mothers, caregivers, all of that. So I know a lot of us have a lot going on. Another thing that I really focus on is, during challenging times, we have the opportunity. And there certainly will be days when you feel like, curling up in the fetal position or staying in bed. But I choose to look at this as an opportunity to embrace, from a personal perspective, embrace this time with my family, embrace this time with friends. I think I'm talking to people more than I used to. And then also to really think about my business and things that I can do to enhance my business, and also to really give thoughtful consideration to what my clients are going through, and thinking about how can I adapt what I can do and the services I can bring to what my clients may need, because they may have needed me in a different capacity before COVID-19, and right now they may need me to roll up my sleeves and help in a different way. So my advice would be, try not to stress over the things that are out of your control, and also to look for the opportunities within every situation that's presented to you. Unfortunately, I do not have a silver bullet to share with you all today. each of us have different businesses, and our businesses have been affected in a different way. And that was one of the things, we wanted you all to put what your business is in the chat box, and we do want to hear from you of what you're going through. And I wish there was a silver bullet, but I think for each of us, we're going to have to take a hard look at our business and say, what are some of the things we can do right now? We are going to share, as I said, we're going to share some tips and some best practices, share some resources that hopefully you all can take away, some little nuggets of wisdom that you can apply to your business. And then, one of the other things that we wanted to do, as, a big thank you to Sona Bank Power, but we wanted to offer you, if you want to dive deeper, as I said, this conversation right now is you and I talking, and Mary broadly about virtual marketing and some of the things that you can do right now to market your business and get yourself out there, and video conferencing and all of that. But if you want to dig deeper, I'm offering every one of you on the call an opportunity to have a one-on-one consultation with me, where we can talk about your business. We can dive deep. You can talk to me about your challenges. And heck, if you just want to vent for, half an hour, that's fine too. I can listen. I really pride myself on, one, being a good listener, but two, being a problem solver. So I welcome that opportunity to talk to you guys. At the end of the presentation, I have my contact information, and we'll share, and we'll go from there.
That's great. No, it is. And it's really good, to be reminded that marketing gets so specific to each one of our businesses. So some of the things that are going to be really specific tips are like, oh my, that's great. But I think that's a very generous opportunity to be able to use this as a brainstorming session, and also to talk with you to get even further that's customized. I love what you said about there's no silver bullet, which means we need to try a lot of different things, right? So let's dive in with the questions that have already been submitted that you saw again and again. And here's the first one. How are companies adapting their business model in a world of coronavirus? Which doesn't sound like a marketing question, but maybe it is. But we got it again and again. So Dawn, what's your response to that?
Well, my response is every business is having to adapt differently. And Mary, when Julie first asked me about doing a Power Join Up, talking about marketing and branding, that was a very different presentation I had put together, 2 months ago. But now we are in this real world, and I'm going to be really honest, as you guys are, I'm figuring it out, trying different things, just trying to, mainly, and we'll touch on this, talk to my clients, see how I can be helpful, to my clients, to my community, to my neighbors. But anyway, to show some examples, and some of these you've seen about as far as how are companies, adapting. We've seen it with our restaurant community. I think the last statistic I heard was there are millions and millions of restaurant workers out. So they're having to adapt, with the new, you can't go dine in, with carry out and curbside pickups. People like Grubhub and some of those DoorDash are really trying to help keep us safe, but also allow us to eat good food, support the restaurants that we love in our community. You've also seen people, some businesses are completely shut down. Mm-hmm. So they're trying to stay connected, which is another lesson. Stay connected to your customers any way you can. And so you see a lot of people doing online classes, whether it's yoga or whether it's, teaching a fitness class. It's just another way to stay connected and stay relevant, because when we get on the other side of this, and we will get on the other side of this, you want to make sure you're still relevant and still top of mind to your customers. Talk about a shift, and also solving a huge need. Anheuser-Busch and so many distilleries, some right here in our local communities, are shifting their business models to provide hand sanitizer. You're hearing now about masks. So many people, I heard Louis Vuitton and some of these designers are now producing masks to keep us safe. The liquid gold, the hand sanitizers. Everyone is out there getting these produced. our faith community. I mean, we are coming up on a huge time in the Christian faith and Jewish communities and so many different faith communities. And they are having to try to figure out, because with our churches and our faiths, it's very important to be connected. So you see, you know, some churches have been online for a very, or on television and broadcast for a long time, but not all. And so some are having to really kind of think up things. And so you've seen some, you know, this is Michelle's pastor, who I adore. And anyway, you know, obviously that's an old picture because there's no choir, but not only, you know, are they broadcasting on television, they're doing a lot within social media to make sure that they're staying connected. And a lot of these different churches you'll see they're giving you an opportunity to give online, to attend a service online, and also if you need a prayer, which we all need a prayer during these times. But the point is, they are taking, you know, they can't do what they've traditionally done in the traditional way, but they can take what they do and adapt it. And so that's one thing that I would do if I was sitting down with you one-on-one. But we would talk about, you know, what service do you provide, and how can we figure out a meaningful way to take it out into the community?
Great. Well, and it would make sense. We got to look at our business model first and then go, well, how does it need to be adjusted? And then what marketing makes sense, right? Mm-hmm. The most sense. So the second question really has to do with something what we're doing right now, which some of us are much more comfortable with the virtual connection than others, particularly, you know, video conferencing like this. So how do you get that same feeling, you know, in as you do in person? You know, when you can't meet in person. What do you have any tips about that? Because you just said before, it's we can't gather in person, but how do we make that connection still?
Yeah, we got this question a lot, and I think it's because we now are being forced to figure out how to connect. And I'll say myself, you know, before coronavirus, I really wasn't someone who was online virtually connecting and doing all of these things. I didn't. I am a people person. I thrive off of the energy, and my preference was always to meet in person and to network and attend all these events. And so I had to get up to speed pretty daggone quick on this. Zoom is my go-to. You know, it's a great platform. And so for me, this virtual is a great way. Certainly you can still pick up the phone and call someone. But for me, Zoom and virtual meetings and conversations is a great way to do it. I will say also using it personally, whether it's Zoom with the family or doing happy hours with my friends so we can stay connected. It's House Party is another one. We've used that. We use that.
That's great. All of a sudden we get very creative, right?
It's just
and available
to feel like, you know, you are connected to the outside world. Doing things like this. You know, I'm so thankful to Sona Bank for allowing me this opportunity. But again, this wasn't in my wheelhouse necessarily before. I've always been a one-on-one marketer, or sitting down with people and talking to them and creating strategies. So now trying to figure out how I can take what I do and help other people. And so I really think, as I said, when we get on the other side of this, I think so many of us are going to come out of this with a skill set that we didn't have before, or maybe we hadn't tapped into before. And so I think that's real positive.
Can I also add, you and I were talking, and you said the more you've done it, because you've had to do it more right now, the more comfortable it not only felt for you, but you actually felt that same, you started to feel that same connection that you would have if you were sitting across from that person.
Yeah.
And so has familiarity just made that more possible?
I think so. For me, it is. The first time I would do it, I was so self-conscious and looking at myself and looking around. It was a weird experience. And but now, as you said, the more you get to it, I mean, you and I had a great meeting yesterday, and I felt like we were in the same room. You know, we're literally sitting there looking at each other. So I do believe these are some. I've got links in the resource guide at the end that a lot of people are using. Zoom is definitely the one lots of people are talking to, but you have go-to meetings. So many of these are offering free trials right now, have great tips. Easy Talks is another one. Microsoft Teams, my husband works for the state of Virginia. They are on that all the time, doing things. And Roundy, again, all of these folks and lots of people now, knowing that we are being forced to communicate and meet virtually, are offering free trials. So I encourage you to check them out and see which one works best for your business.
Well, and let's ask everybody right now, if you were on the call. So go to your chat box if you haven't already, and then type in what virtual platform are you using right now to meet with people online, and let's just see what people are doing. Oh, great. A lot of Zooms, Skype.
Zoom.
Yeah. Okay. I'm looking at Easy Mail. Okay. Someone likes to do Zoom because all the backdrop options. Okay, which is the virtual backdrop.
Tracy's backdrop. I love that.
Yeah, free conference call. Someone said, you said, Becky, wonder if that'll hold up. That's still available as well. And then free conference call, I think now has a virtual video option as well. That's virtual, of course. It's always been there. Yep, we're seeing. Okay, FaceTime. Yeah. That's can work well if you've got someone who's got that same app and it's on their phone. Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, and people are using them. All right, Zoom has definitely zoomed forward to the front of the pack. Let's go to the next question that came up and had to do with etiquette in these meetings, right? About what to do and what not to do that makes it effective, particularly for us as business women. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's really funny because when you and I were reviewing these questions, we were like, these aren't necessarily marketing, but then as we looked at it from a different perspective, they are marketing because it's about marketing yourself.
Right.
Putting your best foot forward. So from the etiquette perspective with virtual meetings, figure out your platform, get really comfortable with it. I've been very fortunate that I, had Mary, work with me and help me get up to speed, but they have online tutorials. So I encourage you to get comfortable with what you have. The other thing is, don't forget this is a meeting. If it's a business meeting, it's a meeting. Some basic things, just as you would do in your regular life. Show up on time, make eye contact, do those types of things. And so, with etiquette, here are some tips. These are some things that they're putting out there. And I have an article. It's a wonderful article that was written. Julie actually shared it with me, and I have a link to the full article about etiquette for virtual meetings in the resource guide. But some of the things, just as Mary did when people were joining, make sure you introduce everyone at the beginning of the meeting. You may be the only one that's really seeing everyone. So make note of who's joining, and then call on folks and say, hey, Michelle, why don't you start off, introduce yourself, and Lauren, you go next, and Jessica, you take it from there. The other thing, ensure you have a clean, work-appropriate background. You're hearing now a lot of buzz and memes about the Zoom room or the Zoom corner of the room, because people are basically kind of cleaning up a little portion. Tracy is a great example of Zoom, and I'm not sure about some of the other platforms, have these awesome backgrounds. So you can literally just take that whole, background out of the equation. Look into the camera when you're talking, and then also as far as eliminating some distractions, in the household, as Mary said, advise your folks when you're on there, mute themselves, do that until they're being, called on, just because we all have it. I had to unplug the landline, and we have the dogs and all the other stuff. Be aware, like we said, about your audio and video settings. And then one of the things they said too is, if you're the host, don't leave the meeting until everybody's left. It's just little tips for us to have an effective meeting and to make sure that we're portraying, a great meeting. And Mary, what was that stat you told me that you had heard about Walmart?
Oh, well, just that there's been headlines that Walmart has had an increase of sales of tops, but not bottoms. Yep. Okay, so think about that. So this is about look good from the waist up is what that's about, which actually, you think about it, we would not walk into a meeting where we're sitting around a table or someone meeting for coffee without being really dressed, right? First of all, top and bottom, but also doing our best that morning to get up and get going and such. And I actually think that from a being in the business mode and remembering not only have a business, but presenting our best self, the more we just keep that routine of getting up, getting dressed, putting on hair, makeup, whatever. It doesn't have to be all glamour, but just that we feel put together, it comes across when we actually show up in a session like this. So I thought that was pretty funny. Yeah, Walmart sales are going up on tops, but not so much on bottoms.
Not so much on the bottoms. Yeah, I totally agree. The feeling of not only just trying to establish some sort of routine, but feeling put together and feeling like your best self. I always feel better when I'm, put together, even put on high heels today, and haven't had those on in weeks, but gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah, you can, we don't need a whole full shot, but anyway, that's good. All right. So, but now, okay, let's get to this about, now that's marketing. It is about relationships, right? So we've done some of that about being online and seeing each other. Cost-effective ways to market my business now, because people are pulling back on their budgets. We need to pull back on our budgets. We need to look closely, so what would you recommend as some things to look at?
Well, that's a great point, Mary. That was one of the biggest things that when we, Mary, myself, the Sona Bank team, when we talked about this, we really tried to look through the lens of, one, obviously the current environment. And Mary hit it right on the head. I've talked to my clients. I've been staying in touch and how are things and proposing ideas and have you thought about this? And because also when you advertise during this time, you want to be super sensitive to what's going on. And the challenge is budgets are tight. And so that's been a challenge. So we've definitely, the things that we're presenting to you guys, you'll hear me reference over and over, free trial on this, try this. And so what we put together right off the bat are 3 go-to cost-efficient ways to market your business. There's one thing, virtual networking. I don't know about you all in your individual businesses, but networking for me has always been a huge word of mouth and networking and connecting with people. And Mary, I'm going to get you to chat about this, that the session that you did, the Power podcast that you just did on virtual networking.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is something that actually the Sona Bank marketing team and also Julie Hill said we need to be able to help all of our Power customers now connect virtually. I mean, and many of us have had some kind of virtual connection, if it's not called a conference call or a phone call, right? But to take it to the next level. And so this panel is what we did for the P.O.W.E.R podcast. And there are 4 women, they're running and they're leading women's business networks here in Virginia. They're all also kind of part of the whole P.O.W.E.R program and network. And I highly recommend you listen to that, because it's in very specific ways about how they're helping their members stay virtually connected that we all can use for ourselves. And you can find that at sonabankpower.com. And if you look under the navigation and it says Find Your Power, you'll see there under videos. So but networking has always kind of been a foundation of marketing, hasn't it, Dawn?
Yeah. Yes, I totally agree. And so many of the groups, whether it's American Marketing Association or NABO or Power, any of these or groups that you work with, are having to figure out how to take what they offer online quickly. So, we encourage you to stay involved in those groups and continue to keep yourself out there. And, it's a great time. I've signed up for, many different online classes or webinars where people are trying to give us tips and tricks and different things that we can do to kind of adapt to these times. The other thing I would say is making sure that you talk to your current customers as well as your past customers. Certainly, you can pick up the phone and call them, but reaching out to them through email is a great way just to let people know. I mean, I talked to a client the other day and I just said, hey, I just want you to know I'm thinking about you. Is there anything I can do to help you? And, there wasn't a task or a project that came from that, but there was the overarching feeling of thank you. Like, I think sometimes we just want to know we're not in it alone and that there is somebody there that can help us. Talk to your past customers as well. These are people who have done business with you. Let them know you're thinking about them. And if you have an idea or some way that you can help their business or, just let them know, what about this, and let them know you're there to help them. Social media, and we'll talk about that in a minute, is a wonderful way to talk to your followers and the people that are out there. And if you don't have a social media channel set up, this would be a good time to do that. The last one, again, these are free things that we wanted people to just kind of think about. And you may be doing it, and we'd love at the end to hear, what are you doing? But create your own marketing posse. You know, people who you can surround yourself with, other business owners who are going to help promote you and promote your business. One of mine, and I don't know if she's still on, is Tracy Lewis, is a huge, I definitely consider her part of my marketing posse, where we can refer business to each other, keep each other in mind. You know, during these times, someone may say, oh, I don't have a big email distribution list. Maybe you can come up with, you know, 4 or 5 other business owners, and you guys strategize on how you can help and support each other. That might be through social media. You do a post and you tag them and you promote their business and you say, you know, support such and such business, or through sharing emails, or maybe you come up with some way to bundle your goods and services together. It's just really important during this time that we, you know, think about how we can support each other so that we all come out on this other side even better.
Excellent. I love that marketing posse idea. That sounds like fun.
Yes, it's really good. And this was just kind of a way, a little reminder to myself when I saw this was, you know, certainly talk to your customers, use language they're using. And with that is, where are they right now? Meet your customers where they are. And, you know, I just thought it was funny, you know, don't feed salad to a lion, but, you know, don't be focused, because we can definitely do that if we think about our own businesses and, oh my goodness, I'm not, you know, I don't have the projects, I don't have the cash flow, you know, that I need. But truly look through the lens of, how can I solve these problems for my customers and my clients, and how can I help them help their customers? Just look at it through that lens.
Real quick, Dawn, we had a question that came through the chat channel, and I think that would be helpful for people too to know. What's the difference between marketing and PR?
So, you know, I'd say a little bit of a gray. I don't think there's a great delineation between that. If you were asking me the difference between advertising and PR, 100% could tell you, yep, this is paid, this is earned media. From a marketing perspective and PR perspective, I think there is some gray, because you are marketing yourself. If I was telling someone to kind of put on their PR hat, I might be saying things like, you know, push out a press release, you know, submit things that you're doing, get out there with more white papers. It's a little gray for me. Like I said, the strong delineation for me would be between like advertising your business and, you know, more marketing, public relations.
Got it. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Social media, we talked about. These are some of the very popular ones. Facebook and Instagram are great ways to talk to your followers. Facebook has amazing resources. I've spent a lot of time on their website. You can see COVID-19 on almost every website you go to, regardless of what you're looking for. They will talk about COVID-19, this, and if you haven't set up Facebook or done Facebook for Business, definitely go and check them out. They can help you, whether you're trying to do custom audiences, lookalike audiences. You can boost your posts. There's certainly free social media things that you can do. But there's also very cost efficient things that you can do. And I can't give you a price, because it's going to depend. What geographies are you trying to talk to? What demo? I mean, the big thing to think about is certainly talk to your followers, but you can expand your reach very cost efficiently through the social media platforms. LinkedIn is something that, you know, I know I've been spending much more time on, and making sure that my profile is up to date, reaching out to people for endorsements and referrals. It's a great way. A lot, I don't have a statistic for you right now, but people are spending a tremendous amount of time online, much more. So making sure that your online presence is strong is really good.
They're spending enough time online to buy the tops.
Exactly.
Right. So, because they're not going to the store as much, they're doing that online too. So anyway,
definitely not going to the store. As far as email, you know, it is a great cost efficient way. This was kind of my fun, scary fact, that there's over 300 billion emails sent per day in 2020. And this stat was pre-coronavirus. So not sure about that, but they're estimating, you know, by 2023, we're at nearly 350 billion emails. We, on average, I swear, sometimes I think I get 3 times this many, but on average receive about 121 emails every single day. We were asked also some best practices, and I am by no means an email marketing expert. We could dive deep on just that subject. So if you are interested in that subject, put it down in the chat box. And we can certainly keep that in consideration for a future talk. But these are some of the best practices. Make sure you have a clean list. If you don't have an email database, it would be a good time to think about one. If you have a social media presence, you could figure out a promotion or something, a giveaway to incentivize people to give you their email address, because having that email database is a great way, cost-efficient way, little no cost for you to communicate with your audience. Also, another little tip is use a professional email address. I'm Dawn at Thrive Marketing. And with that, they mean don't use, dawnbeach5@gmail.com. Just make sure you have a professional email address. Another style tip is they suggest no more than 3 typefaces. Send targeted emails if you can to your customers based on the interests that they have and the products and services that they use, or something you think would be beneficial to them. And one thing I would say with that is this time right now is to connect with your customers one-on-one. This isn't necessarily, from my perspective, and I may have different thought if you're offering something broad stroke, but my approach right now is very personalized to each customer. And the last thing I would say is send, we get asked, and there is no magic number. I think, with some boards I serve on, where people will have people going, we're getting too many emails, there's too many emails. And I think, one of the rules of thumb says, send 1 marketing email per week to stay in touch with your customers. I think versus saying send 1 email or 2 emails, I think it's more important to make sure it's good content. Don't just send something to send it, but make sure it's good content and relevant to your customers.
And I'll throw that. I mean, people do get. I even had that question yesterday from a client. Is it too many? It's too many. And I've heard this advice, particularly right now. Over communicate versus not. And with 121 emails, yes, you might get ignored, but you're also, even if you're not completely ignored, they will see you in that box, and that's what's also helpful for them to know. Oh yeah, you exist still. That's one thing people are wondering. Are you still in business? Are you there? So there's that. There's a couple of questions also and comments in the chat box about email. What is the best email company? Someone suggested, Allison Scott said BombBomb, and these are great for a deeper dive. But what are some of your thoughts right now?
Some of the thoughts that I have, MailChimp is a very popular one. Again, we were going through this through the lens of what we can do and put in front of you all as something you can look in and see what makes sense for your business, but they do have some free options. So MailChimp is something I would check into. Constant Contact is another one. Have a free month. You can see if that works for your business. Drip, I'm not as familiar with, but it kept coming up and I kept hearing about it from an e-commerce standpoint. Again, they have a free trial. So again, if other people have ones that they love, definitely put it in the chat box, and maybe we can get, another, either a podcast or someone talking about truly diving deeper into best practices for email marketing versus just marketing, just sending an email to your client, but truly an email marketing strategy. Excellent.
Well, and obviously emails aren't going away. We're getting up to almost 350 billion, all right, over the next couple of years. So they're not evaporating. This question that came up is kind of related to emails and social media, is that we need good graphics, we need good video. So free and low cost tools to get started with that, because that can be a big world in of itself.
It is. Everything, these times forced me as well to think about, oh my goodness, I need to get up to speed. I need to make sure that I can produce my own graphics and I can do my own videos. I am a creative person, but I am not in the traditional sense a creative. I am not a graphic designer. So I am so thankful for some of these platforms that are out there. And this is Canva. I used it. I am not a designer. I used it. I created my own logo, my own business cards, my own flyers. It is a wonderful tool. Mary, you've used this as well, haven't you? Canva?
Right. I have. It's Canva, and I know right now you don't see the graphic that says
Yeah.
Canva, but on the screen here right now. Yeah, and in fact, in the chat box, there's Canva was the first one that was popped up. Someone said Canva was great,
Yeah.
and so yeah, we are clearly not the only ones. Highly recommend checking it
Yeah.
out.
And so we do have links to all of these in the resource guide as well. We tried to put together a comprehensive list so that you're not having to like scramble everything down at the end, but I definitely recommend this. I am not a designer and it has been a wonderful thing. Animoto is another very easy to use platform to create videos. You know, Mary and I were having this conversation recently, the fact that it's all about your visual presentation, your visual presence, if you will, when it comes to social media. And Lauren, and I know she's on, if she could unmute herself, I know Lauren uses this a lot for a lot of the Sona Bank social media.
Yes, we love Canva. Jessica Ragsdale, our marketing assistant, and I use this all the time. It's great for quick social videos. You know, if you get on Facebook, you see video after video. Video is very popular on Facebook right now, and it's so easy to use. It's templatized. You can just go in there, type in what you want. They have music you can add, stock photos you can add. They do have a free version of it, and then if you want to be able to like brand it with your logo and things like that, I want to say it's $30 a month maybe, but I definitely suggest trying the free trial to see how you like it, because it's awesome to use and to quickly generate content for social media.
That's awesome. And that was with Animoto, right? Because I know you use Canva and Animoto.
Yes, same for both. Canva has a free trial, and then you can upgrade Animoto as well.
Awesome. Great. Awesome. And then Banner Snack also has, it's a free online tool that can help you with doing design. Snappa is another one, and you can see they can get started for free. And Crello, another one, it's anyone can be a designer. Mary and I were talking about, you know, oh gosh, the designers. But I think, and I was telling her, I said, oh gosh, I still use my designers. I use my designers for a lot of things, but there are things that we need to be able to do and respond and create graphics and push them out socially quickly, to do video and graphics. And then, like I said, doing things like business cards, flyers, etc. But we have all those links in the resource guide.
So other resources, because we, you know, I don't want to do a complete catch-all because other could be huge, right? Exactly. But I know that actually there are some things kind of in the, you know, the P.O.W.E.R and the Sona Bank kind of family and reach here. So we wanted to make sure to cover and suggest a few other things. Right before we do that, I was going to ask everyone, hey, go ahead. Do you have additional marketing or design tools that you use that are free or that there are low cost? And we've got quite a few of those already that have been proactively added to the list. Right now, if you haven't added, if you're using something different than Canva or let's see, what else?
Animoto. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Animoto.
Or any of those, yeah.
And someone said Cloud was another one to look at for video as well. But if there are others that you are currently using so that we all can see that and be able to share, please put that in the chat box right now. That would be really, really good. Oh, Adobe Premiere Rush is also free. That's good for video. Thank you, Danielle. Great. As you think of them, feel free to add those to the list that we have in the chat box. So as we wrap up here, and then we're going to open it up for discussion, Dawn, other resources.
So we were talking about the fact that there's no shortage of information out there. You can see, look at that number. Look at that number. All I typed in was, how do I market my business during coronavirus? There is so much content. People are definitely putting content out there. If I narrowed that down and said, how do I market my photography business? There would be a ton of information. How do I market my tax preparation business? I encourage you, get out there, look around, figure out, because as you immerse yourself in a lot of this content, you're going to have some ideas. You know, right there, 10 digital marketing ideas to consider. You may not go with exactly what they say, but it'll spark some ideas of what you can do with your customers. And I just thought that number was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. So don't even try to go from the beginning to the end, right?
Yeah, not doing that, but searching around.
Searching around. That's
Anyway,
right.
SonaBankPower.com, we talked about that. It is a wonderful resource. This is the first Power virtual join up. Mary's been doing the podcast, and there's just no shortage of content that this team puts out. So please, when we get to the end, put down things you're interested in, so that we can be sure that the team can address those. So it's just a wonderful resource. The other thing I would encourage you, if you're a Power member, yay, but make sure you have your membership directory up to date. It's a great resource for us. This is mine. In addition to being able to talk about your business, in this directory, other Power customers from all across and can look and access that. And Lauren or Michelle, how many Power, or Julie, how many Power customers do we have in the network now?
Over 1,400.
Over
in the network.
1,400. These are 1,400 women business owners and women in business that you can talk to. And the Power Perk that I have there, it's a way for you to offer something to Power members. It's a great, great, great way. There's also the Power Place, which is the closed Facebook page. And you can talk and put out there and make special offers, and you can create your marketing posse right there. Say, hey, I'm looking to market, and do this. How can we work together? We as women love to help and solve problems together. So it's a great, great resource. As I said, I'm on the board of NABO Richmond. It is a wonderful organization of women helping women. We are right now taking figuring out how to take all these wonderful events that we had planned through the rest of the year and take them online. So definitely keep us in mind, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and there'll be some great, great events. Also, NABO National has a wonderful list of events going on. Check out their institute, check out their resources. As you can see right at the top of the page, they're talking about COVID-19 and how you can, how your business, how you can market your business, and then lots of other tools for women business owners. So definitely check that out. MailChimp. As I was researching more on their website, they too have information on how you can help market your business during this time with COVID-19. Just about every single website I went to from a marketing perspective had information about marketing your business through COVID-19. Next question.
All right. And I don't want to minimize this one because this one came up. People go, I need more clients now. Of course, that's great. We have to take care of our existing ones, and that's we've always wanted to have more clients come in.
Yeah.
New ways to be able to get business that maybe are not only fast, but also maybe we may not have thought of. And I love what you have to share here, because this would be intriguing.
Yeah.
What do you got for us?
Well, I think it's one of those things too, that everything that we've shared today, hopefully will help you market yourself, and will also get you new clients, get business from existing clients, hopefully get you some new clients through some networking and online things that you're doing. But in conversations with some of my peers, we've been talking about how can we get ourselves out there, and there are great resources out there. Up.W.E.R. I'm not sure you guys can say, are you familiar with that at all? I'm in the process right now of getting myself set up. It is free. I think there are levels that you can do. The interesting thing about this was it's not just for the creative group. It's not just for designers and web developers and all of that. It is literally across the board. It has everything from legal to engineering to human resources. So it's a broad spectrum. For contract work, it's virtual, so they're used to doing this. Same thing with flex jobs. These are not just for creatives. where a lot of these online things we're used to doing and accessing some of these things from a creative perspective. So both of those, I put the links in the resource guide. I would definitely check them out just to see if that's an option for you, to maybe have some projects come in that you can use. Some of the others, now these are more creative, and from a marketing perspective, I was looking at some of these, but Cloud Peeps, Media Bistro, you can see it's more writing jobs and marketing creative jobs, but a lot of us are writers. So thinking about that and just seeing what opportunities may exist. Aquent and Vitamin T, I definitely have familiarity with them. I've been in conversation with Vitamin T myself to talk about, they certainly have full-time as well as part-time work. And as Mary and I were saying, these folks are very comfortable and very used to doing virtual work because that's how it has been for a lot of their clients across the country. So I just encourage you to look into some of those. Also, do your own Google search. If you are in, architecture, see what jobs may exist from that perspective, and just search, because, someone brought Upwork to my awareness and I had never even thought about that for me. And so it just gave me a different way to think about how I can take my skills and potentially get a project and have some revenue coming in.
Yeah, and it may not be getting a huge amount, but it's the idea of putting yourself out there to a whole new audience. And the thing is, people are looking now more online for solutions than ever before. So that's also helpful to be on one of these sites. If you have another site like this, please go ahead and put it in the chat box. We've already had one Fiverr. People have asked about using it, and there's been basically yes, and you get what you pay for. You had freelance up there. Is Elance still around? There used to be one called Elance. But
didn't see that one.
Well, I know we're going to have all these, like you said, in the resource guide. All of these URLs listed. So if you didn't get one, don't worry about that. But thank you. I mean, this was just to be able to stimulate the idea that maybe that is a way I could find additional clients right now in this time. And like you said, a lot of them are free. So that's something to consider. And then, all right, so we're about to open it up for more discussion and some thought. There's a couple of questions that came in as well. I want to remind everybody that you do have that free marketing consultation, 30 minutes to connect with you. So Dawn, is the best way just to send you an email and say,
email is the best way. And we can set up a Zoom call. We can do a conference call. We can do whatever works best. Without leaving the comfort of
in the comfort of your home, or go out to the car and nobody is there because
we can pull our cars up 6 feet apart from each other and talk. Good for that.
Okay, so I think you've over-delivered, honestly. So I would love everyone to please go ahead and let's give Dawn some love. Let's put in the chat box. That's already starting to happen. Whether it's a woohoo or it's a thank you or it's a clap. Let's just do that. And Dawn, I want you to just go to your chat box right now and see all these comments. One gal, who has 2 pages of notes here. Edie has 2 pages of notes. You go all caps on me too. Thank you. Okay, Dee Dee. That means she is saying, "Oh my gosh, this was really, really helpful." All right. A lot, obviously, really useful. Really, really useful. Thank you, everybody, for giving you some love. All right, because you took extra time to put this together out of your own heart there. So let's go now to like I said, to open it up. Hear from all of you. There's actually a question I want to ask and throw out, and let's just see if where was that question? There was a great question on excuse me. I'm going to have to I can't find it really in the chat box. So we'll go on from that one. If you asked that question and you didn't get it, I wasn't able to bring it up in time, you can go ahead and chime in right now. But what marketing is working for you now that you might be able to share? And if you have not already, when you respond or when I add in a question or a comment or how marketing is working for you, remember to unmute yourself first. And that would be in the bottom, the top right. There should be a little blue button that clicks unmute. All right. And let's just, let's see who can share what is working for them. Because in Power Join Ups, it's also about what's working for you. I'm going to unmute everybody. I love to have the control. All right, but you might mute yourself back again. All right.
Morning, Mary.
Good morning.
Jeannie.
Morning.
What I'm doing is taking this time to work on my business and not in my business.
Mhm.
You know, we're all running around usually, or in the past, trying to get 25 hours out of 24, and it doesn't happen. Well, now we've got that time on our hands. So I'm working on designations in promotional products. I'm doing homework that I never have time to do to improve my
Good for you. And I know in your business is all promotional products and marketing. So you could be saying, you know, on that one. That's great. That's great. Is there a particular pet project or something that you've been avoiding doing? You're like, I should be doing this for my business, that you're now putting yourself head time on?
Yes, getting the designations that wanted to do and just have not had the opportunity, the degrees, if you will, in promotional product sales. So that's my goal.
And
Nice.
Jean, this is Dawn, real quick. That just, even just you saying that just immediately made me think, oh my gosh, there's no better time for you to put a promotional product in your client's hands. You can't see them. You can send it to them. You can leave it. That's a great idea.
Call over to Mama.
That's exactly right. And what we're doing with some clients right now, they're sending care packages to their employees. We
I love that.
to kit, and it doesn't necessarily mean hand sanitizer.
Right.
It might be company hats, so that when they're sitting on these meetings, the logo is right there.
Yeah,
Or apparel. I'm doing a lot of apparel right now, which
awesome.
surprises me.
Tops,
It keeps
probably
the
tops.
momentum.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably
Well,
tops.
with the tops, my daughter's principal does a whole like Facebook Live often, and he, in the apparel thing, he is wearing branded cool stuff every day. So we
Exactly
all
right.
feel connected. That's great, Jeannie. I'm gonna keep that in mind.
Nice. Nice.
Also,
Thanks.
also, what's come back that we haven't used forever, mouse pads, because we're usually sitting at where I'm sitting right now. Mouse pads are back in.
Yeah, oh, that's
Anything with the company logo is right there on the desk because we're all looking at this rectangle.
Right. Oh, nice. Nice. Great. Love that. Thank you. Thank you so much. That was great. And what else is working for people? What are you doing marketing wise, or what are you thinking about doing maybe that you haven't done yet? And whether it's today or beforehand, you're like, I need to start doing that, or I think I should try.
Mary, Dawn actually mentioned this earlier, but we have a scheduling system called ERSP that we use when scheduling home care visits. And in that system are all of our referral resources, where they came from, those referrals. And so I have years worth of those, and I've been spending time going back through all those because in this industry, people jump around all the time. And so, so just updating all of that contact information, and it's created I'm calling up the numbers, and if the person's not there anymore, I'm talking to the person that is. And so it's really created some connections that I would not have otherwise had just by updating the system. And the other thing I'm doing is I have monthly luncheons with referral sources that are just set every month. And what we've started doing, it may sound a little weird, but we actually FaceTime during lunch at that time. Just so that we can talk and connect and have lunch together virtually. So that's been working really well.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, and what is getting around and having sharing a meal really about? At the core of it, it's not about the food.
Right.
At the core of it, it's about having a shared experience.
Right.
And so, okay, it would be, we're more used to doing that. I could say it could be better, but actually I think it's just more familiarity. We're more used to doing that, sitting physically around, to be able to go, well, we still can get that connection part really done by having a shared experience, and having FaceTime. Well, good for you. What a smart thing to go back to, this database of these past clients, these past contacts, right? And update them. Wow. Smart.
Very
It
helpful.
takes so much time. That's why we haven't done it in the past.
Oh, and I hate it. I hate it. I force myself to do one letter a day. So I obviously, just started with the last names of A's, and then I've just been going down the list, and some about, I think I'm on letter F.
For you.
But instead of it just being drudgery now of like updating some list, I don't say some because it's real people that represent it, but the connections, the reconnections, those have got to be energizing when you get that back from somebody.
Absolutely.
Or you have a contact. Yeah, that's cool. That's nice. I know we're getting towards the top of the hour, or we're at the top of the hour, so I know we'll probably need to wrap up soon. But let's at least one other person that says, hey, here's what I'm doing, it's working, or I'm trying.
So this is Dee Dee.
Hey,
Hi.
Dee Dee.
My business is normally being in people's homes doing meal prep for them. So guess what I'm not doing right now? And so working with my fabulous business coach, Valerie Jackson, who's on this call,
Nice.
really looking at ways to pivot. And that means a lot more online component. So I'm pivoting to be able to offer virtual pantry reviews for people, giving them ideas for meals so they don't have to grocery shop as much because people aren't going off. So I'm really kind of working on thinking about that pivot that fits what's going on in the world now, that very likely could create a different stream for me after this is all over.
Yep.
And so it's getting out of my comfort zone for some of that, but I think that pivot is actually really a blessing right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
One of the things in the marketing world, I know, or the messaging is, you're trying to really connect with people's pain, right? And solve their problem. I don't want to really call it silver lining, but kind of what is that in a quarantine situation, everyone has a shared problem. I'm stuck at home, or I'm limited in constraints. And that's really unusual. We don't usually get that. Right? We get a bazillion different
food is the common thing we all have. We all have to eat at the end of the day.
And then
most people
and then we
crave
have to do
right
something
now,
else,
so.
which is why the toilet paper is off the shelf. So there you go. Okay. I mean, I love that idea of like, what's in my fridge? What's in my pantry? What can I make tonight? Right?
Yeah, I literally came up with a new service. I'm calling it the Pantry Genie.
I love that.
Love it.
I would
All right.
totally take my computer and show you my pantry and go,
That's exactly what it is. 30 minutes of doing that, saying, here's the things you have, here's what you overstocked on. How do I help you with that pain point? What are you missing that you normally would have that they were out of? And how do I help you come up with meals right now that you can use and you don't have to leave the house for?
Okay, put your in the chat box again.
Oh, they scrolling up to the top of the chat box. Where's Dee Dee in there? Okay.
That's awesome.
Thank you, Dee Dee. Yeah, it is awesome.
Thank you.
Wow.
Great.
Wow.
Awesome.
Opportunity.
It is. It is.
Absolutely. But I love the fact that the hard times, like we said, Mary and I've had this conversation. We're all having to get scrappy. We're having to figure out what are we good at? What can we do? How can we solve problems and get ourselves? And I love that. I love that you thought of that. And we're all going to come out of this with even better skills and more revenue streams than we had before.
And then they'll want you to come into their kitchen and say, listen, you figure out what's in the pantry, all right, and cook it, because I don't want to do it anymore.
Already, it was like, well, what the heck? Like, I don't even have, why do I still have this? Do you want to use it? Yes, here's 4 ideas to use it up.
That's really good.
You need to figure out something with freezer too, because I have like multiple freezers.
We talked about what was in her freazer as well.
I'm finding the only good thing I did is I found a big pack of Thin Mints, and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna.
There's no question as to what to do with those.
That's right.
We don't know what to do.
Oh my gosh, we have to wrap up because it's been a great session. I want to thank Dawn. Thank you for what you've shared. I want to thank Julie Hill, Director of P.O.W.E.R, and all you do to for us to even exist together as a whole group, as well as Michelle, Simon, and I can hear on the screen like I don't really. I'm sorry, I know,
Yeah, Jessica.
Lauren, Lauren Whitlow and Jessica Ragsdale with the marketing team. Before we officially wrap up this first virtual Power Join Up, Michelle, Chief Marketing Officer for Sona Bank, what can we expect, or what is the team doing for Power as we go forward during this quarantine time?
Sure. So, the whole reason that we're doing this, and Julie mentioned this earlier, is when this first happened, Julie and I pulled up and we said, we got to keep the connections rolling. That is the absolute most important thing for us, because we've spent so much time with you ladies building these connections, building these relationships, and we're not going to let a global pandemic stop us. So, we are constantly thinking about what can we do to keep this vibe going. We will see more virtual Power Join-Ups like this. We're going to continue this process. We have a lot of great ideas that we've heard from those on the call, and have sent in their responses. But we're going to do join-ups on time management, on networking, again, continuing that. SBA, we've got a lot of misinformation out there, a lot of confusion out there. Have patience with the bank. I'll give you that, because you're hearing on TV, go to your bank, they have everything. Well, guess what? The back end isn't quite connected with the front end. So we are actually working diligently on our team to try to get this up and ready on our website in the next couple days, like every other bank across the country. But that'll be another one that we'll bring to this forum to talk about the SBA programs, the Paycheck Protection Program. How do you apply? What happens with that? Who's eligible? So we'll have that. We're going to be launching a new Power website. We took advantage of this downtime and said, you know what, let's use this as an opportunity for Power to really give us a facelift and focus on the true resources. So it makes it easier for you all to connect and to promote yourself. So that'll be coming. We're also going to work on some Zoom resources. More blogs are going to be coming out. And we're going to do the monthly podcast. This week we launched the video audio version, which was a test to see how that went. And we've gotten some great response. So, we'll have more podcasts coming out as well. And we're looking at doing virtual business seminars. So like we've done in the past, where we've had SBA seminars or, different experts come on, we're going to look at doing those virtual seminars as well. As a reminder, we're going to post a list of all of the resources that Dawn shared with us today, and many of you all that you sent in your ideas about, as well as the recording session of this will be posted on our Facebook page. We'll put it on the website, so we can keep that rolling. If you have any ideas of how we can keep these connections rolling, please send them in to us. The unique thing about Power is that we are very creative. We're backed with full of powerful women running the show behind the scenes. So no idea is a bad idea. Collaboration is key. And the end message is that we're here for you ladies. As Dawn said, we're all navigating this together. We're learning as we go. And Dawn jokes and says, she would have never done Zoom 2 weeks ago, and now she's an expert. So
I don't know about expert.
Pretty well. That's right. You're on a learning curve. Absolutely. No doobie.
So if you have questions, comments, email power@sonabank.com. We'll send a follow-up, with information as well. But, let's all stay connected and lift one another up. And when you're down, we're here for you. When you're up, we're here for you. Yesterday, I was very frazzled, having a crazy day. I've got a 15-month-old toddler trying to manage in the middle of this, and Mary just popped up a great song for me and got the energy rolling. So, that's the thing, is that we're all here for one another, and just want to help one another. And thank you, Dawn. I think you did an awesome job.
Thanks, Michelle.
I hope everyone on the Zoom call found this beneficial, and we look forward to doing this again.
We absolutely do. Thank you. Yeah, it was really great. And by the way, that video was just do a quick search on "I Will Survive," and it was a spoof. And it was funny with people stuck at home. You can find that. Just to be clear, I just want to ask and confirm, because Lauren, you're usually in charge of this. There will be an email that will go out to the entire Power list, right? About the links to where this is posted later. Would that be true?
Yes, we will shoot out an email and we will post it on our Facebook page, on our website, probably on our LinkedIn. So it will be out there on all the platforms for you to see anytime you want to go back and look at it.
Perfect. And I know it will also include all the links. People are asking about that. And the recording will also include the chat so that you can also go back and scroll through those contact information and websites and such. And so that'll be one email out of the 121 on average you're going to get. You can ignore the other 120, but this one you'll want to pay attention to and click through. All right. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for being part of the P.O.W.E.R program, for being active. We know that there are some of you are listening right now because it's made available to everyone who are not a part of the P.O.W.E.R program yet. Well, guess what? This is what happens. And if you seriously want to be plugged in even more so, contact Julie at the P.O.W.E.R program, but you can go to power at sonabankpower.com and just let her know, I'm interested in talking to someone. She will follow up, because guess what? You can still do that virtually here because we got online. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. All right, go out there, be the powerful woman that you are. Okay, bye. Bye.